Hey everybody, welcome to the backyard today. And I'm going to start throwing in a few videos similar to this that are cooking some food that most people just shy away from. So some of these recipes coming up in the future, a couple of them may be ones that y'all wonder if I still lost my mind or not. Emmett had to come out here to see if I was really going to do this or not. So what I'm trying to get with all of this is back in years ago, people used everything when they butchered. They butchered a hog, a deer, a cow, whatever they did, they used everything from the ears to the oxtail to the sweetbreads to the heart, the liver. They used all of this kind of stuff, folks. And we've got away from doing that. We want filet, T-bone, ribeyes, brisket, flank steak. We want all of those things. If we changed the way something was described, it probably would be a whole lot more appealing to everybody. So I'm going to start off fairly simple, okay? And what we're going to do for you today is we're going to do a version of burnt ends. But what's the meat we're going to use? I got it underneath this towel, folks. Spam. Now, all of y'all are running away and hiding and doing all that. I get it. But spam. We're going to make a version of burnt ends out of spam. And I guarantee you, folks, when I'm done, it's going to be just fine. You're going to eat it. It's going to be great. Okay? Now, so we're going to take this spam. First thing we want to do is put some smoke into it, right? Well, we don't want to get it too small where it falls through the grates of our smoker. So we got this spam standing up. We basically just want to cut this into thirds, just so that it's easy for us to get the smoke into it. Okay? And the only thing I'm going to season this with is a mesquite seasoning. Now, folks, sometimes we have to be careful about what product we describe on a video. I know I can describe this product without anybody screaming at me. This is Kent Rollins mesquite seasoning. Go to kentrollins.com. You can buy all of it you want. It's really a good seasoning, but I'm going to be using his mesquite seasoning. We want to be fairly liberal with it. We want to kind of get it pushed in. Spam is naturally wet, so it's going to stick to everything naturally. I want a really good coating of this. And I kind of, in planning out some of these videos, I've talked to my wife and some other people about some of the things I'm going to put on these videos. And I sure got some raised eyebrows, folks. I do have some very interesting things in the works. Now, we're going to continue to cook some normal food, but I'm going to throw in some of these older dishes, which to me are very representative of the South. Soul food, good Southern. Sometimes some of these are going to the Appalachian territory. But there's a lot that we're losing in the world we live in today. And I'm going to try to bring a little bit of that back. All right, folks, we got that on there. All right, we want to stick this on our smoker. And we really don't want to cook it. Spam is already cooked. We just want to impart the smoke flavor into the meat. So our smoker, if these thermometers are correct, it's running about 200 to 225. So we just want to set this up there. And we're just kind of going to let that go for maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what they look like. We want the rub that we put on there, for lack of a better way to put it, we want that to kind of get this little shellac look to it. We want a little bit of the moisture to come out of the meat. We want to kind of make it a golden color. This is going to be more of a reddish color because of the mesquite seasoning and the ancho chilies that they're in there. Now, while that's going, burnt ends, whether they're biscuit burnt, burnt ends or whatever they are, there's a barbecue sauce that goes on that. And I did a video and I touched on this a little bit later. I mean, a little bit ago. But in here, there's about 3 tablespoons of a hickory. I believe the actual name of it is a hickory sugar barbecue sauce. So we've got about 3 tablespoons of this. This is bought off the shelf. You can use any sauce you want. But I want to try to take some of this out of there and make it a little bit, just a little bit my own. So to that, and this is a really easy recipe, folks. To that, I want to add 2 tablespoons of Siracha. Now you can add a little more, a little less, depending on how you want for heat. I want to add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I want to add 2 tablespoons of pure cane syrup. Not a pancake syrup or anything with any flavoring in it. The true syrup. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. The last thing, and if y'all follow me, anything, y'all know that I usually try to use whatever we have in the house. So we got a lot of things happening sweet in here. We added the pure cane syrup to it. We want this to be sticky and tacky and burnt in kind of stuff that goes along with that. But we got to counter some of the sweetness that we put in here. Even with the vinegar and even with the lemon juice we put in there, it's still going to be a little sweet. So we took 2 tablespoons of the brine of olives, or the liquid out of a jar of olives. 2 tablespoons. Okay, we're going to whisk that together. We didn't put any dry ingredients in this because we don't want it to get grainy or anything like that. We want it to cover the meat really well. We've got a lot of dry already on there. So I'm going to get this mixed up. We're just going to let this kind of sit for that 30 or 45 minutes that we're cooking or smoking or whatever you want to call it. The wonderful Spam. Let's give this a little bit of a taste. Just right. So, can I do it? Can I make Spam where you're going to like it? Hang around and see what we do. Hey folks, welcome back out to the backyard with all of the unusual things that we're cooking for you. I'm going to go and pull this Spam off of the pit. It's been on there about 45 minutes or so. We're going to pull that off. It's got a lot of smoke. It's gotten dark. Some of that's from the seasoning. Some of that's from the smoke. Constantly got to make adjustments, folks. Things change as you cook. Be aware of that. Now, we're going to make this into burnt ends. So we're going to be cutting this up or cubing this as best we can. Got this cheap aluminum pan, and that's what we're going to put everything in. So we want to take this and cut it in half that way, and probably about 2 to 3 times this way. Some of your seasoning will fall off. It's dry, so we need to be a little careful. But that's okay. It did its part. You know, a lot of people have different opinions about seasoning, and I like a seasoning that accents what I'm cooking. It doesn't mask it. And this seasoning is one that will not mask it. Okay, we got them in the pan. I'm going to get rid of the little crumbles that we got here. I just love cooking outside, folks. Do that in your kitchen floor and see if that gets you in trouble. We got this sauce right here that we made before. We're going to pour the whole thing in there. We got us a little plastic whiz-bang spatula. We're going to help scrape that out. There you go, folks. I got it all over me. And then we're just going to give this a toss. Get all of these chunks of Spam coated with this barbecue sauce. And folks, I'm kind of by myself today. I'm missing my camera operator. Not only my camera operator, but someone that kind of keeps me straight and makes sure that I don't say something really weird to everybody. We'll walk over here and get this a little closer to the camera so I don't have to move it. Right there. There we go, folks. We're going to put this back on the pit. We're going to let this go for probably about an hour. Okay? But we're going to turn it, once it gets tacky, once it gets tacky, sticky, gooey, ooey, we're going to pull it off. We don't want to get too much on it, folks, but we want to get enough to make it have that, all of y'all have had burn-ins, you know what I'm talking about, that gooey, tacky, thick, sticky stuff that gets all over you when you eat them. So, folks, yes, I know it's Spam, and I'm pushing the envelope. Just bear with me. We'll be back shortly. Hey, folks, we've been working on this Spam for you, and you know what? It's about ready to come off. I'm going to get this in here. Like I say, I'm by myself today, so we're going to have to be really creative on how I show this to you. But I think we're going to make it without a train wreck. How about that, folks? Some nice, look how gooey and sticky and thick, and look at all that. I don't care what kind of meat that is, folks. That's going to taste good. And folks, you get a lot of that sweet heat from the sauce we made. And there's a saltiness that naturally comes from the Spam. And one thing I laughed about the other day, folks, and I do it, but you ever watch TV chefs and all these other people? Whenever they taste something, they go in here and they do this like I'm doing right now. Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. You've never seen anybody take a bite and spit it out. You ever thought about that? It's always great. And how would you know? Well, folks, you can trust me. Do this with a can of Spam and reply back and let me know what you think about it. Because I guarantee you that'll make a Spam eater out of you any day, and there's nothing cheaper. So, folks, as we win every video we got, enjoy your food.